Hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about laws of probability. This is very important because remember that the probability is the most common way of representing uncertain events. And it has some rules, some laws that are going to help us to organize our processes and recognize when we have something right or wrong or solve something in an easier way. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to take in mind every time that we work with probabilities is that the probability of any event always lies between 0 and 1. What it means is that we're never going to have a probability that it's negative or a probability that is greater than 1. Okay, so if we made our processes and we found that the result of a probability is negative, so we have to check all over again because, that is not possible. Okay? The next thing that we're going to take into account is that the probability of a certain event is 1 and always 1. Well, what it means that a certain event is 1. So let's think that we have this set. The universal set are all the numbers from 1 to 10, the integer numbers from 1 to 10, and A are the multiples of 3 and B are the even numbers. So let's say that we're going to find here the probability of x less or equal than 10. Okay, so if we check here in our numbers, all the possible outcomes that we have here are less or equal than 10, right? So the probability of having a number that is less or equal than 10 is going to be, all the universal set. So it's going to be 10 divided 10, which is 1. Okay, so the law says that the probability of a certain event means the probability of the universal set is going to be equal to the number of elements in the universe divided the number of elements in the universe, which is going to be equal 1 always. Okay, so a certain event means that it's something that is definitely happen. Okay, it doesn't matter which one is the element that we take out or that we select in our experiment, is going to happen. That's it. The other law that we're going to take in mind is this one. The probability of an impossible event is 0. What means this? Well, now let's think that we're going to find the probability of an x that is greater than 10. So if we try and we look for a number, that is greater than 10, we're not going to find any number in this set, right? Because all the numbers are less or equal than 10, right? So here the probability is going to be, well, 0 numbers, 0 possible numbers that are greater than 10 divided the total number of elements that we have in the universe, which is going to be equal to 0. Okay, so this law says that every time that we have the probability of an empty event, it's going to be the number of elements in an empty set, which is always going to be 0, over the number of elements in the universe. So this one is going to be equal to 0. Okay, so um, an impossible event, it means that there is no way to happen. Now, when we talk about complementary events, we have to take something in mind that it's very important. So remember that the complement of an event occurs when the event doesn't happen. So since the event either happens or doesn't, the sum of the event, the probability of the event, plus the probability of the complement of the event, that is going to be equal to 1. Okay? So in other way to see it is that if we wanted to find the probability of the complement of an event, we can have 1 and subtracted the probability of the event. Okay, so let's say, for example, that we're going to find here the probability of a complement. Okay, so we wanted to find the probability of a complement. So we know here that the probability of A is equal to 3 over 10, right? So we can say that the probability of the complement of A is going to be equal to 1 minus 3 over 10, which is 7 over 10. And if we check, well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 elements that doesn't belong to A. Now, when we talk about combined events, okay, we have to take into account that we have to be really, really careful when we find the probability of the union, okay? So, what it means is that if we wanted to find the probability of A united B, we have to take into account that we have to find the probability of A, okay, and add the probability of B, okay, and then subtract the probability of the intersection, okay. If we don't do that, we're going to take the risk to count the intersection twice, okay. So if we have the Venn diagram just to count how many events do we have in the union, well, it's going to be easier. But if we don't have, if we just have that the probability of A is equal 3/10, and we know that the probability of B it's equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 over 10, and we know that the probability of A intersected B is equal 1 over 10, so we can find the probability of the union A united B by, well, adding the probability of each one and subtracting the probability of the total. So we can set here, this one is 3 over 10 plus 5 over 10 minus 1 over 10. So this one is equal 3 plus 5 is 8 minus 1 is 7 over 10. And we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 elements in the union. And that's it. Now, the last time that we're going to talk about it in this video is the expected number of occurrences. What is this? Well, if you know the probability of an event happening, then you can use this to estimate how many of the total number of trials will result in that outcome. So, what it means this, let's say, for example, that we're going to select a number from this universal set, we're going to select a number 10 times, okay? So we're going to select a number 10 times, okay? We're going to denote it with n, okay? The number of trials, we're going to denote it with n. And we wanted to know what is the expected number of times or of occurrences that we're going to get a number that belongs to A, okay? Or what we're going to, we wanted to know what is the expected number of times that A is going to occur, okay? So to find this, we're going to use the formula for the expected numbers, which is the expected number of x is going to be equal to the probability of this event times the number of times that we repeat the experiment, okay? So in this case, the probability of A is, well, 3 over 10, right? And because we're going to repeat the experiment 10 times, so we're going to do 3 over 10 times 10. So this one is going to be 30 divided 10. So, well, this one is going to be 3, right? So what it means, this 3? This 3 means that if we repeat the experiment, select a number from this one 10 times, it is expected that 3 of these times we get a number that is a multiple of 3. Now let's find the expected number of B. So let's say that the expected number of B is going to be equal to the probability of B times the number of times that we repeat the experiment. So this one is going to be equal to, well, 5 tens times 10. So this one is going to be 5, right? So what it means is that 5 out of these 10 times that we repeat the experiment, we expected to get a number that is even. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any doubt, don't forget to ask and I will try to help you to solve it, okay? So, thank you so much and see you next time.